The ACLU and the University of Michigan student government brought the court action. After today's ruling, Channel 4 reporter John Marshall talked with the president of the U of M Student Council.
Do you have any reason to believe there will still be some form of a peace demonstration despite today's ruling?
I know there will be.
How? What?
There's a coalition here in Los Angeles, of which Michigan is a part, along with Stanford, the Free Angela Davis Committee, Peace Action Council, and the Vietnam Veterans, of which we're going to be demonstrations around racism, both here and abroad, in terms of the bombing that's going on in Vietnam and killing Vietnamese people while our people are coming back, and the fact the war isn't ending, and also around the fact that people of color here are killed and denied their civil liberties and their right to live a decent life every day. So there will be demonstrations.
What form will the demonstrations take?
Most probably, as I see it right now, a march of some kind.
Despite all of the threats of demonstrations, however, people are already lining the streets in Pasadena tonight. They're hoping to get the best seats for tomorrow's big show. Many came prepared for the long, cold night ahead, and in one way or another, the time is passed away. At this time of the year, pundits, politicians, prophets of all kind talk about the past and the ominous implications for the future. Well, the hour is much too late for that kind of exercise, so I reduce my particular analysis of this past and its meaning to the future to this: we can do better, and we'd better. Happy New Year, everyone, from everyone here at KNBC News. That is the news for this year. I'm Tom Brokaw for Ross Porter and Kelly Lang. The Johnny Carson Tonight Show with a special New Year's Eve program is next.
The following NBC sports program is brought to you in living color.
Pasadena, California. The early morning sun hitting the famed Rose Bowl. And here about 28 minutes before kickoff time, it's nearly full. Outside, they're still moving in. There will be 103,000 fans for the Rose Bowl game of 1972. Undefeated, untied Michigan against the Pacific 8 champs, Stanford University. NBC Sports, a service of NBC News, presents a look at the 58th annual Rose Bowl game. Brought to you by Gillette, makers of Platinum Plus, with platinum smooth edges for smoother shaves. You'll feel the difference. The San Gabriel Mountains have been brushed with snow. We have a perfect day for football. Kurt Gowdy, Al DeRogatis, we wish you all a very happy New Year on behalf of NBC Sports. What does it feel like to play in a Rose Bowl? Second time in 3 years they've been back to the Rose Bowl, capturing the Big Ten crown. And as we watch them on film, awesome is the word for their ground game and their defense. Let's look at some of the highlights.
Michigan had plenty to cheer about this year. Their coach, Bo Schembechler, has lost only 4 games now in his first 3 years at the school. He has one of the top running backs in America in Billy Taylor. Billy Taylor has set the all-time career rushing record for University of Michigan, 2,990 yards for his career. And he started only the last 5 games of his sophomore season. He beat out the great Tom Harmon and Ron Johnson. Taylor scored 13 touchdowns this past year, averaged 5.5 yards every time he carried the ball. Almost impossible for one man to stop him. In their strong running game, Michigan came up with an outstanding sophomore fullback in Ed Shuttlesworth, who gained over 800 yards during the season. Watch him the next 2 years. Keller's work is backed up by a senior fullback, Fritz Seafoot, who's dangerous around the goal line. Tom Slade started the last 7 games as sophomore quarterback. Throwing here to Glenn Dowdy, a double threat wingback, a threat as a runner and a receiver. Michigan is truly excellent on defense. They're answered by their middle linebacker, Mike Taylor, who made all the All-American teams. And an All-American safety man in Tom Garden, who averaged over 10 yards a punt return and is called the hardest-hitting defensive player on the Wolverine squad. 17.
January 1 is a happy day, but when you're playing against an awesome football team like Michigan, it isn't too happy. Bill Taylor, 42, Ed Shuttlesworth, great runners and outstanding blockers. 69 rushing plays in a game are tough to beat. We'll be back with more about today's Rose Bowl game in just a moment.
This is a revolutionary new shaving system from Gillette. To shave you close, we put in our finest blade. And then, to shave you even closer, we put in another one. Gillette introduces the world's first razor with 2 separate blades, the new Gillette Track 2. 2 blades. To get whisker, 1 blade could miss. The new Gillette Track 2 twin blade shaving system. It's 1 blade better than whatever you're using now.
Oh, yes. Yes, my antiperspirant works when everything's going okay. But when I'm a nervous wreck, nothing seems to keep me dry.
If your antiperspirant doesn't do what you hired it to, fire yours and hire ours. Right Guard antiperspirant. Get the drying agent that really helps keep you dry. Stops odor, too.
But I'm what you call a heavy perspirer, you know. I perspire in the wintertime.
Then fire yours and hire ours. Ours is Right Guard.
Against a team that can pass like Stanford, it really makes for exciting football. We'll be back with more about today's Rose Bowl game in just a moment.
You know what makes shaving such a pain? Going over and over against the grain can irritate. So Gillette introduces Face Saver. It softens like a foam, protects like a gel. New Face Saver actually leaves lubricating protection so you can even shave against the grain with less irritation. New Face Saver softens like a foam, protects like a gel.
Excuse me, I'm from Gillette.
Oh, yeah, for TV. Dick Jones.
I've switched to Gillette Platinum Plus.
I've switched
Perfect.
to Gillette.
How about you, sir?
Oh, I haven't tried Gillette Platinum Plus. All the blades are alike. Oh, most of the guys I know can feel the difference. You get a smoother shave. Are you sure? I'm positive.
Sure, Gillette Platinum Plus double-edger injector have platinum smooth edges for smoother shaves. Try them.
Yeah, see if you don't feel the difference. Are you sure I'll feel the difference? Did I call the game? I'll feel the difference.
Now, as undefeated Michigan takes on Stanford in the Rose Bowl game, next on NBC. Then later today, watch Nebraska versus Alabama in the Orange Bowl game, later today on NBC. KNBC-4, Los Angeles.
Hi, I'm Margolyn Johnson, Rose Queen, here to welcome you to the 1972 Rose Bowl game. NBC Sports and the Pasadena Tournament of Roses takes this opportunity to welcome you and wish you a Happy New Year.
NBC Sports presents the 1972 Rose Bowl game, featuring the Wolverines of the University of Michigan versus the Indians of Stanford University from Pasadena, California. Brought to you by Goodyear, the only makers of long-wearing polyglass tires. By Texaco. Trust Texaco to have the right gasoline for you. And by Chrysler Corporation, Extra Care and Engineering. Your host today, your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer. And what a beautiful setting this Rose Bowl always is. And back, the famed stadium here in Pasadena, California, the San Gabriel Mountains. They've been tipped with snow the last couple of weeks. Actually, the weather's been horrible out here until Wednesday with torrential rains, 7 inches of rains that forced both teams away from their practice sites, and they were concerned about the playing field. The playing field, though, has dried out. It's going to be in perfect condition for today's game, and the temperature will be pushing 70 degrees. Happy New Year again to you. Kurt Gowdy to call the play-by-play, Al DeRogatis to analyze the game. An interesting matchup, almost the same setup as we had last year, except a different Big Ten team. Ohio State was heavily favored last year. They were undefeated, untied, and they were dumped by Stanford, led by Jim Plunkett. Stanford is the team they say cannot win the little ones. They always win the big ones, but they have trouble beating opponents that they're supposed to handle easily. It's a ball control type of Michigan team against Stanford, which we think will have to come out here today and pull just about everything the way they did last year. But let's talk more about some of the personnel of today's game with Al DeRogatis.
Kurt, there are really some very, very outstanding people. Bill Taylor, one of the very best runners in the country. Watch for him, number 42. Ed Shuttlesworth, 31, a huge sophomore, should be an All-American. Glenn Dowdy, 22. These are all Michigan players and all very, very good. Mike Taylor on defense, a true All-American. He's the linebacker, 33. Keep your eye on him. Don Bunce, a super football player, and some say he can do maybe more things than Jim Plunkett. John Winesberry for Stanford, outstanding receiver. Kurt, exciting football. It's got to be.
All right, and right now, down on the playing surface, the Stanford University Marching Band under the direction of Dr. Arthur P. Barnes. Now the band is playing in antique cars, coming in as the president of the Rose Bowl and the Grand Marshal. The Grand Marshal this year is Lawrence Welk. The theme of the Rose Bowl parade and the Tournament of Roses, the joy of music. Grand Marshal Lawrence Welk. Tournament of Roses president is Virgil J. White. The Queen this year is Margot Lynn Johnson. Margot Lynn Johnson, the Queen, along with the 6 princesses that attend her. Those are 1,902 automobiles, a 1, a 2, a 3. Didn't have his baton today, had it yesterday at the Rose Bowl luncheon, the kickoff luncheon.
Missing in action and their families. Please stand and listen as Dr. Arthur P. Barnes, musical director of the Stanford
That's the Stanford band on the field. We're having a battle of bands today of contrasting styles. Michigan, the precision marching band, while the Stanford band really goes to more of the mod ad-lib routine. Right now, they're ready for the national anthem. States Air Force F-4 Phantom jets. They're honoring nearly 1,600 Americans who are prisoners of war and missing in action in Southeast Asia. 4 of those missing are Stanford alumni, and 5 are graduates of the University of Michigan. So the aerial salute, a tribute to all our men who are prisoners of war, missing in action, and their families. Now we're going to meet some of the outstanding players of this Rose Bowl game, and we're introducing them. We shot these films right on the campuses of Stanford and Michigan. Stanford University, established in 1885. Michigan was concerned about the playing surface of this field with the heavy rains up until Wednesday because of Stanford's passing game, figuring that the defenders in the secondary of Michigan, split second behind and knowing what was going to happen, might have trouble staying up with the Stanford receiver. They have blowers on the field. The temperature is pushing 70 degrees, a little breeze blowing from the goal on your right, so it is just a perfect weather day here for the 50th golden anniversary of the Rose Bowl Stadium.